It's funny because we actually said in the session, we were like, the only way we would get somebody else to be on this record is if it's Armand Van Helden. And then literally like 3 months later, my management called me like, are you sitting down? And then I looked up and I was like, oh my God, there's like 35,000 people here right now. As you really start overthinking it, you get into your head and you start looking at other people. And I've never been the kind of person to pick up my phone and like, compare myself to other people now. And I'm doing it. And I'm like, why am I doing this to myself? And also that's another way to get eyes on you rather than sitting around waiting for people to respond to you. Just do it yourself. And then if it builds the traction you want, that's what labels want these days, and you've done the work, and it's up to you. Should I now let them do it, or should I just keep it myself and carry on what I'm doing?
Hello and welcome to the Beat podcast, where we go beyond the music to uncover the stories behind the artists, records, and industry professionals shaping today's dance music scene. Very quickly before we get started, a big thank you as always for listening and supporting the podcast. If you haven't already, please like, share and subscribe. It really does mean a lot and help us out. Right, on this episode is Raphi, one of my favorite people in the music industry. She's a songwriter, DJ, producer and label head. She's collaborated with the likes of Laidback, Patrick Toppin, Armand Van Helden and more alongside her own releases. And I loved catching up with her and having her on the podcast. So let's get into it. Raphi, welcome.
Yeah. Hi, thanks for having me.
Of course. Thank you for coming on. How are you?
I'm good. I'm in and out of being quite sleepy at the moment. And I don't know if it's just the hay fever or the weather or what's going on, but you've got me. I'm awake. So
do you struggle with hay fever bad? I take like hay fever tablets, like Smarties year round.
Everything. Like, have you heard that you can have jabs now? But apparently, the NHS have stopped it. It's not very good for you. So I was going to get it done this year, and then I was reading up all the negative and positives, and I was like, not sure I would have risked that.
I was saying to a friend, so I was at a wedding over the weekend.
Nice.
And I was saying to a friend, so my partner Liv gives me like a little vitamin box kind of thing. Like I call it my pill box.
Yeah.
So she fills it up every week, and honestly, she could give me anything and I'll just take it. So I'm hoping that
don't ever upset her.
I know exactly. So if something happens to me, you know who culprit number one is. But
I love that.
I think hay fever is one of the many tablets that I take every day.
It's gotta be in there.
But I'm glad you're keeping well, man. What's been going on?
God, good question. There's a lot. Do you know what? I feel like it's peaks and troughs is my new phrase at the moment. Yeah. It's like so packed out, then nothing, but in that period of nothingness, I'm like packed out studio wise. And then all of a sudden you get a message and you're like, oh God, I've got to go here now. I've got to go there. Even this morning, it was like, oh, are you free in 2 weeks time? We need to have you here in Amsterdam to do this. And I'm like, oh, okay. But it's all amazing stuff, working and finally releasing my new project. Yeah. So there's a lot of promo for that now. And just gearing up for it all, which is really, really exciting.
Amazing, mate. Very exciting. I guess we would be complaining if we weren't being pulled in all different directions and we didn't have loads going on, as much as I guess we would love to just sit down and watch Netflix all day, every day. It's not an option, unfortunately. So I always like starting these podcasts off by asking people how they initially got into dance music, the music industry, because I love finding out everyone's story, because everyone has their own kind of route into how they got into the music industry. What's your story, Raphi?
Yeah, so I've been in the industry a very long time, even though people may not think it. But my first foot into dance music actually was a bit of an unconventional way. I kind of fell into it, but then I've always loved, dance music. I just didn't realize that was my calling until kind of certain events happened. And I started off as a writer originally for a lot of dance acts and DJs. And then I was just like, there's something that's so amazing where you can write and put your voice, because I sing as well as produce now. And there's, such a nice way of like, I can put my voice on so many different genres. I don't have to stick to one sound in house. And, it doesn't have to be house. It could be EDM. It could be this. It could be that, techno, which is great. But whilst I was doing it, I just really felt like it's not me. And through that process for me, I was like, right, after I had a number one with Laidback Luke in America, which was insane, and he's so lovely. Honestly, he's like a mentor to me. So that was actually like my kickstart into dance music. And then I had the privilege of working with Patrick Toppin, and we had Whisper, which also was the next platform for me. But then it was when I worked with Patrick that I sat down and had a chat with him, and I was like, look, for me, I want to DJ. This is where I want to take my project now. And, people only know my voice, and I need to make that transition. And I want people to start taking a bit more seriously of what I really want to be doing. So it was a process, but it's really funny. Actually, I started DJing because I was going on a holiday. I'll make a short version of the story. I went on a holiday to Ibiza for a girls' trip, but
Yeah.
come on, Ibiza is not a holiday when you're in music, right? Like it's
No.
just not when you live and breathe dance music. It's not a holiday. So I was like, girls, like you go out if you need to, but I'm going to go do my networking. If you want to come, obviously come. I'll get you into free clubs. I know enough people
Yeah.
like, we'll do what we need to do. But I was like, it's not really a holiday for me. So they were like, no, we'll come with you, all this stuff. I started reaching out to some booking agents. At the time, I had the number one with Laidback Luke. So I was like reaching out to perform that record. And I got through to someone at Ibiza Rocks, and they replied being like, great, what do you play? And at that time, I wasn't even thinking about DJ. And I was like, what do I play? And I said
Yeah.
to my boyfriend, because he's a DJ, I was like, he says, what do I play? And he's like, I think he thinks you're a DJ. I went, well, I
I
better be a
am now.
DJ then. I am now. Literally, that was it. And that kickstarted it all for me. And it's so funny because we actually found a video from
Yeah.
like 10 years ago now of me messing about on some decks in his studio, my boyfriend's studio, and me never not knowing what they like, how to use them. And I was like, come on, I'm going to be a DJ. And I'm like, look where I am now. It's just so
Yeah.
funny seeing that transition of everything. So yeah, I didn't play that show in Ibiza because when I do something, I want to make sure I do it and do it my best. But I came home from that holiday so inspired, and then literally a week after I got asked to do a Tom Zanetti release party of Ministry of Sound, and I did play that, and from that it was kind of a snowball effect and got more gigs, and then just started doing more, and I haven't stopped since. So
Amazing, mate.
quite a long-winded journey there,
Yeah,
sorry.
loads to unpack there.
Yeah.
So, like, obviously, songwriting was first before then DJing came along. Is that
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I was actually like a pop girly before, way before, and I actually released quite a lot of pop songs. Don't really like people knowing that part. I have
Yeah.
tried to take a lot of them down. But then I realized again, I put it all out in lockdown, and I was like, within like 10 minutes, I took it down. I was like, I've spent, years working on this. It doesn't feel like me. I've got to take it down. And that's when I realized it's not my calling. I actually have love dance music. I'm just fighting against it.
Yeah. So, were you obviously doing the pop stuff before COVID? Was that kind of do you come from like a musical family or anything?
I
What
don't
was
come from a musical family. My dad and my mum absolutely love music. So I've been brought up on like literally every day we have speakers on around the house blasting. Like my dad will be teaching, like listening to Luther Vandross, the Supremes. My mum's a massive George Michael fan. So a lot of the 80s and 90s is such a big inspiration to me, which I feel like actually comes through my music, especially my latest project as well.
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure I kept that because for me, that's my favorite music. It really is. So merging those like them together, I think is just a perfect like substance of classic house.
Yeah.
Big soul vocal over, just good. Oh, I love it.
Yeah, growing up with Luther Vandross and George Michael, very, very nice tastes in the house
Yeah.
music of Raphi growing up. Yeah, you'd mentioned like I was going to tip on that about because I feel as though your sounds kind of evolved a little bit over the last year or so, and the last record that you did and the new one, it does have that kind of big 80s sort of synth kind of sound to it. Was that the reason, like, was that the inspiration behind the new sound going back?
Yeah, it really was. It was 2 years ago actually where I started that project, and there was one song that I wrote and it just all clicked for me. And I was like, do you know what? I don't know, maybe because I was working with so many different artists and you're constantly, having people talking to you in your ear, like, you should do this, or you sound great, or you should do this, do that. But it's when I first actually got into production and started producing a bit more that I was like, I'm kind of bored of people telling me what to do rather than like, I want to do what I want to make, At the end of the day, I feel like if you're not proud of your own music, how can other people like gel with it and vibe? Because people feel if something's fake is what I've really learned. And especially when DJing as well, like, even though we're DJing other people's music, if you're not enjoying the music that you're playing, people will really feel that and they're not going to dance with you. So I was just like, I need to really just step back and make sure what I'm doing next is really me like unapologetically me, you know. So the fact that even if nobody likes it, at least I can be proud of it and sit in my little my studio here and just listen to the music.
Absolutely. Like, obviously running the label and stuff, I'm a firm believer in, like, you can't please everyone all the time
No.
and you're not going to make everyone happy. Music's so subjective. But if you're releasing something that either you're the artist or you're a part of, me on the label side of things, if I love it and I can stand by it and
Yeah,
think to myself, oh, I can still hear myself listening to this in 5, 10 years time, then I'm happy. Like, I'll put it
exactly.
out. Hopefully other people enjoy it. If they don't, then right, okay, it's my fault. And on to the
Yeah.
next one again.
But it's like I said,
um,
that's the beauty of having your own label. And I remember we spoke about that when you were starting it as well. Just like it's again, it's love that music that you love that you want
yeah,
to put out. At the end of the day, you're giving a platform for other people as well. And I think that's just so inspiring for new artists coming up as well. So
yeah.
you're doing something good for the community.
Thank you. I'm trying, Raphi.
Yeah.
You'd mentioned about the collab with Laidback Luke, an absolute sweetheart, like you'd said. He's such a legend. I feel as though that was kind of, especially on the dance side of things, was like your breakthrough moment, like
Mhm.
to be a part of that record. How did that collab come about with Luke?
Do you know what? I can't actually remember. It feels like a long time ago now of how it actually happened. But the record, I was in a session in Berlin with some friends and I had a meeting to go to. But I was like, guys, I just have this idea quickly. I'm not actually gonna sing it, but I just have this like I'll just put it down how I hear it. I wrote it at home. Just quickly, can I lay it down and you just put something to it and then we'll send it out. So that's how it happened. Literally, I recorded the vocal within like 5 minutes. It was ridiculous. And I put this proper like soul diva voice on, not necessarily how I usually sing. And I envisioned it as I want a big powerhouse diva vocal to go on this. And then I sent it to my publishers at the time and we just started sending it out and it got into Laidback Luke's hands. And he was like, I literally love this. I don't feel like I would change much to it either. I think he just changed a few bits. And he even says it in interviews, you know, sometimes that just happens where you hear records and you don't want to touch them. You don't have to touch everything just to be like, I'm
Yeah,
part, like he's part of the record, you know? But the bits that he did change really made it the record it is today. But he turned around and was like, I love your vocals on it. Will you stay on it? And I was like, oh, do you know what? It's like I wrote it lyrically is what resonated with me because it's if there is love, you know, it's all about like bringing everyone together. It doesn't matter who you love. You can love whoever you want, and that's the story I wanted to give to the world. And I was like, but it wasn't for me to sing. I was like, can
yeah,
we get someone else to sing it? And he was like, honestly, I really love it. And I sat down with my mum and I went, just actually sound wise, I don't think it's me. I just don't know if I should do it. And she was like, if you don't do it, you'll be an idiot. And I was like, okay, my mom's told me now. I was like, okay, I'll do it. And you know what? I've never looked back and it's the best decision. So my mum's always right. You
yeah.
know
Big up,
that?
drums.
Yeah, always. I'm like, okay, I listen to everything you say now.
Yeah, was that the track that kind of gave you the confidence to think, all right, okay, I can pursue this dance music side of things now?
Yeah, it really did. And again, Luke being an amazing guy that he is, he honestly would sit and have chats with me for hours just about how I was feeling about things and just making sure. And again, he would, same as Patrick, I've been very blessed to work with amazing people.
Yeah.
Just like they're not in it for themselves. They really want to help and give people a platform. And yeah, Luke done that for me with If There Is Love. So it was truly the beginning of something that sparked a fire in me for sure.
Yeah, amazing, mate. Like you've mentioned Patrick and Luke and stuff, like two huge established names in dance music. Is there anyone that you would like to work with? I guess it's a bit of a
How
cliche
long's
thing.
the
There's
list?
loads of people, yeah.
Yeah,
Everyone always goes, Calvin, Tiesto.
literally. Well, it's actually funny because my number one top, literally in every interview that I would say, I actually can't say anymore because I actually have had a record out with him this year, which
Yeah,
the label made possible. So Armand Van Helden, that is the GOAT for me. He was
legend.
like my number one. But the other people that I'd love to work with, there's so many. Peggy Goo is up there. SG Lewis is up there. Tisha, I love her. I think she's amazing at what she does. I'm trying to think of there's honestly the list is so endless. I could be here
Yeah.
all day.
The Armand collab, like you'd mentioned that the label kind of that came around from them putting pieces together was because that's with George Reed as
That's
well.
with George Reed,
Did
yeah.
you George work on the record before it then got to Armand, or how did the collab come about?
Yeah, we did. So me and George have been working together for a while. He's another amazing producer and just a great guy. And he's quite involved in my project. So we got kind of done this one together, and then we were like, oh, this would be kind of cool if we got. It's funny because we actually said in the session we were like, the only way we would get somebody else to be on this record is if it's Armand Van Helden. And then literally like 3 months later, my management called me like, are you sitting down? And I was like,
Yeah.
yeah. And I was in Amsterdam at the time. And I was like, what is going on? You're acting really weird. And they're like, right. So, you know, you said the only person would be Armand Van Helden. Well, we've relayed that to the team and
Yeah.
they've got Armand Van Helden. And I'm like, what? I was like screaming. I really wish we filmed me on the Zoom chat with my management because I was like crying my eyes out. I was like, are you
Oh,
serious? But you know what? Another legend as well. And he's so,
yeah.
so lovely. And again, he took the track and put his touch on it. It's got the classic, when he put the classic Armand drums on it and the synth, I
Yeah.
was just like, yeah, I'm done. I was like, you've taken me to another level, mate.
There's like a running theme in the music industry, like everyone who's been around for so many years and everything, it's they are so lovely. Like I always say the number one rule in the music industry is just don't be a dickhead. Like
It's really
no
not
one
hard, is it? There's a lot of people that are though.
no,
It's like, it's not hard to
it's
be nice.
no, and this is the thing. I always say that, and I think I read something before that it takes more effort to be rude to someone than it does to be nice because you're kind of going out of your way to be rude
Yeah.
and be mean or whatever. So yeah, number one rule: don't be a dickhead.
Yeah, it was it's
Uh,
funny though because they always say don't meet your heroes as well, do they? Just in case they do turn out to be a twat. Excuse my language, but so I was so nervous when I was being armed. I was like, do I go over and say hi? Is he gonna know who I am? I was sitting in the corner like, do I go now? What do I do? What do I do? And I
yeah,
met him and he was literally just like, Raphi, oh my god, thank you for having me on this record. I'm like, thank me. I was like, thank
yeah.
you.
So
It
yeah,
was so
it's a
funny.
big record, and congrats on kind of ticking that one off the
Thank you
list with
very
Armin.
much.
On the DJing side of things, obviously you kind of the gig that you had mentioned while you were in Ibiza didn't work out, but you've
Mhm.
obviously been back and returned to rocks and stuff since then. Like how would you describe a Raffi set now? Like your sounds, because you've obviously
Mhm.
found your sound and what your sound is now after the promoter
Yeah.
then asked you what it was.
Yeah, it has developed over the last couple of years. So people that previously saw me will probably think, "Oh, she's quite a hard house DJ." But I actually started when I first started DJing more just feel good house music. I don't really know how to explain it when people ask me, but just like now at the moment where I'm at, it's like classic house mixed with a bit of tech house as well. I'm a sucker for a bit of tech house, but it's like more about energy than actual sound wise for me. So I like to have a bit of well, a lot of tunes with vocals in that people can sing along to. I want to make it feel like an inclusive party, and that's what I like to give out of my sets. Like and it like I like to also take people on a journey. So like start off with maybe something that everyone kind of knows, and then it kind of dips back into, oh, you don't really know this. I
Yeah.
want people to leave my sets and be like, what's that record she played? I wanna go find that. And rather than just playing all like the heavy hitters that everybody knows, I don't really like doing that. So whereas I kind of done that a bit before, and I've realized actually I miss playing warm up sets where I get to play like songs that nobody knows.
Yeah, like I've seen so many like videos and people on social saying like why do people want to do warm up sets? Like everyone should be able to go on and kind of do their own thing, and then the person on after them should then be able to follow them. And if you're a headline act, like it shouldn't matter who played what before you and stuff. You should
Hmm.
have enough confidence to go do your own thing. I'm completely against that, by the way. I feel
Yeah,
as though
I agree with you.
there's such a place for warm up sets. And like whenever I was coming up and DJing, started off doing like bars and everything. Like
Hmm.
you name something, I've probably DJed at it. Um, but it's so important to have that like experience and
Hmm.
to learn what to play, when to play, and to kind of read a room and stuff. Do
Yeah.
you do you prefer doing the warm ups sometimes? Because I feel as though you can have a lot more freedom in what you can play in a warm up.
Do you know, I do it. It's like what you say. It's like I do and I don't. It depends on what day. Like I don't want to do it all the time, of course, because then you do
Yeah.
want to play some bigger records. But it's like it's literally what you just said. I think it's actually a big art to be able to play a warm-up set, and I never really understood it before. And then I started getting into it, and I was like, you know what, to actually warm up a crowd properly and keep them there with the energy, which is so hard in today's world, I feel, because everyone just has the attention span that doesn't really last too long, so they want every song that they know that they've heard on TikTok and stuff. But I think what also gave me the confidence with my own music is when I started playing out those records, people started singing along. I was like, this record's not out yet. How are people finding? So I actually quite like playing a warm up where I get to play my own music as well,
Yeah.
because I think that warms people into it a bit more because they're not expecting you to play the big records. So they actually vibe with you a bit more. I got to play IMS this year for Spinning Deep Party, and it was just like a mixer, but that I was warming up. And you know what, it started off with about, I think, 10 people. The set's up online, you can see that, but I was having so much fun, and the people that were there with me were really there with me. And I got to play music that I don't usually get to play, like proper Ibiza house classics and stuff, and I'm like, oh, I just kind of miss that. So yeah, in into your answer, I actually do miss playing warm-ups.
Yeah, there's such a skill to it, and like I said, you can have a lot more freedom and go back, like dig through the crate and play stuff that you wouldn't normally play, and just have
Hmm.
a bit more fun in it and everything with it. Yeah, love a warm up set, but like you said, you just kind of you don't want to do them all the time. You kind of want to be playing
Yeah.
a bit further up the lineups as well. Like I feel as though a lot of people coming through who are like artists who are just focusing solely on like TikTok and socials and stuff, which is obviously very important. But then they're having a big moment and then they're getting
Uh-huh.
signed and then they're going out to play all these gigs and they might not necessarily kind of know how to read a room or how to, like, I guess, DJ properly.
Hmm.
Um, which is crazy. Like on the social side of things, like it's so important nowadays. Like how are you finding navigating everything?
Um, I kind of like I know some friends that have blown up from TikTok and stuff, but I feel like it's a lot of pressure for them as well, you know.
Yeah.
And then you have the other side because then that's all they kind of know. Whereas, unless I guess we flip it, we're more industry, let's say, than TikTok. Let's call it that. But some people that come from this side find it daunting doing more TikTok stuff. I don't mind doing the TikTok stuff. It's just kind of a bit like, oh, I've put all this effort into it and I've got one like sometimes just because of
Yeah.
algorithm. But then I kind of take it with a pinch of salt now and I'm having a bit more fun with it. And I take TikTok more as I just want to show people a glimpse of my life rather than it all be so musically focused. I'm like, we have Instagram and we have our music for that. I
Mhm.
think I don't want to take it so seriously anymore. I have been for a while and I'm like, no, this is where it ends. I was like, I'm just
Yeah.
gonna be fun now. Like otherwise you really start overthinking it, you get into your head and you start looking at other people. And I've never been the kind of person to pick up my phone and like, compare myself to other people now. And I'm doing it. And I'm like, why am I doing this to myself?
Yeah, and there's like it's very overwhelming sometimes because there's so much content, there's so much
Yeah.
noise going on. It's trying to like navigate everything and like you see people doing certain pieces of content, you're like, okay, well the content that I'm doing at the minute isn't really connecting. Should I then do that? But then it's taken away from maybe who you are as an artist and what you want to be doing and
Hmm.
everything. Um yeah, it's just a minefield online at
It's
the
a
minute.
whole nother world. I've actually been doing quite a few panels lately, talking about social media and how to build your audience. And one thing that I just keep saying to people is don't follow trends and what other people are doing. Like, if you really stick to yourself, I know it sounds crazy, but I just feel like there's so many people in this world that you will find your own community. Like, community is such a big thing for me. So that's what I'm trying to sway my focus onto rather than trying to impress the whole universe of TikTok because there's
The work.
so many people. I can't deal with that. And you're always going to get hate on there as well. But I've learned to like try and take that in a funny way. And I feel like with TikTok, you can do that. Whereas like on
Yeah.
Instagram, I would never dare reply to anybody the way I reply on TikTok. But if someone says something, I'm like, all right, Dave, don't worry. Quit your day job. Like, stop like talking to me. Go do what you need to do. You just make a joke of it, but they love it. And then they like get really into it. And I'm like, whoa, this is a whole nother world. I was like, people want you to roast them. I was like, what
I
is
know,
this?
yeah. Yeah, it kind of kicks into the algorithm and then more people
Yeah,
see it and stuff. Yeah, it's a
it's
vicious cycle.
wild.
But like I completely agree with you. I think community, like in dance music, it has always been so important and it has like dance music and all these different genres have come from community and come from the
Hmm.
underground and stuff. And I can see not people are pushing back on socials, but it's maybe not becoming as important as maybe as it once was, because people are now seeing, okay, because I feel as though with online, it's everyone's perspective is so blurred. Like, oh, I only got 300 views on that, but still 300 people have seen it. Like,
Exactly.
if you had threw a party and 300 people turned up, you'd be like, all right, okay, this is great. There's 300 people here, but online
Hmm.
it's like only 300 people. So I think it's people just need to kind of get that into their heads a little bit.
A hundred
But yeah,
percent.
community is so important. Like, if you've got, I think I seen something recently that if you've got like 50 or 100 kind of dedicated fans and people who are
Mhm.
listening to your music and buying it, like that's all you like really need. You don't need
Oh, really?
thousands and tens of thousands of
Love
people.
that.
Yeah.
Well, that gives us confidence that we're doing something then, because it's funny. It's funny because obviously, like, I'm saying it now, but you don't really practice what you preach a lot of the time, do you? Until someone else says it to you, you're like, oh, okay, actually, that does make me feel better.
Yeah, like this is the thing. Like, this is why I love having these conversations with people. Like, I spend a lot of my week in my home office in this little
Hmm.
room doing everything, and like still speak to people and stuff on the phone and on message and everything. And but it's just nice kind of having longer form conversations, because
Exactly.
I'll be completely honest, I have daily meltdowns, even hourly meltdowns sometimes, but
Oh
it's just
no.
nice kind of speaking to other people to be like, all right, okay, I'm not the only one that's kind of just
Yeah.
freaking out over over something at the minute.
If it makes you feel better, the last 2 weeks, to be really real, I've had the biggest mental breakdown that I've ever had in my life, to the point where my parents had to step in and was like, "You need to pull yourself together, woman." And I was like, "I know," but it's like I was saying at the beginning of this chat, like peaks and troughs. Like we don't know when it's going to hit us, and even though again, it's like what realistically in the whole world, like what do we have to be moaning about? We're doing what we love doing. If you really put it into perspective, we're grateful that we can be doing this every day, you know. And also, I don't know if you feel like this, Connor, but like I feel like if I look back to where I was last year, and things I said I want to achieve, even if it's one of those things that we've achieved now, I don't know if it's just because we always want something more. I don't really know, but we're always finding like we I don't know, are we focusing on the negatives more than the positives? Because I feel like there's a lot of stuff, amazing things that are happening, like even like what you're achieving right now by doing this podcast and speaking to people and stuff, like that's an achievement that you've decided to get up and do that. People say it but never want to do it. So I feel like we need to give ourselves more credit.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I think it's everyone's, especially in the music industry, everyone's just kind of caught up in the rat race. And I guess it's having like drive and like aspirations and stuff, which keeps pushing you forward to
Hmm.
look for the next thing and stuff. But I, over the last like couple of years, I've really tried to, whenever I do have an achievement or whatever, whenever I play a big gig or something,
Hmm.
taking time to really kind of reflect on it and be like, oh shit, like I've like
Yeah.
accomplished this. I've done this. Because like looking back, whenever kind of without getting cheesy and stuff, but 5 years ago, if you were to ask me, all right, okay, you're going to do X, Y, and Z, I'd be like,
Yeah.
holy shit. But now,
Exactly. That's
because
what
you're
I
like,
mean. Yeah.
yeah, because you're in it, you're like, you don't really think about it. You're just, okay, what's next?
Yeah, exactly. I completely agree with you. I think I'm the opposite to you. I don't really soak in the moments. I used to, but now, because things are moving so quickly, I'm always like, okay, well, I've achieved that now, but what's the next thing? Because I need to stay relevant. I'm like, oh my God. But then, and that again goes back to social media. I'm like, well, now I've done this, but now this person's doing this. So do I need to catch up now? Because everyone's going to forget who I am. Or if I go on holiday for a week, oh, no, but everyone's going to forget, but they don't. It's just like a
No.
mental thing for us. I'm like, oh,
Yeah, I I've kind of gotten into my head, like I used to go away for holidays and stuff, and obviously I do like the label side of things and stuff. And
mhm,
if I took 1 or 2 days off, I'd be like, oh, I could have. What if I've missed the chance
mhm.
to sign this record or that,
Yeah,
or like I'm not across it and stuff? And like you're not going to be across everything all of the time. It's just
yeah,
fucking impossible. There's so
yeah.
much stuff going on in the world, so you just kind of need to take it as it's come, do your best, try and be as across as much as possible. And there's going to be things that are just going to pass you by, but you just kind of need
Yeah,
to
that's
be
true. That's
happy
good
with that.
advice. I'm gonna take that. Also, one thing that my family's always said that we really hold is everything really does happen for a reason. And it's like you say, that one time that you was aware that you might have missed that record might feel really hard to you, but there's a reason you missed it. It wasn't for you, or you not taking that would have been because there's another record that you were meant to take and have that moment with that or something. I don't know. I just always want to look at the positive rather than a what if.
Yeah, there's that old saying like, what's meant for you won't pass you by. I think it is.
Ah, yeah, I love that saying.
Feel as though we're getting deep here, Rafi,
I
in the
know.
podcast.
This has gone very like, guys, this is a fight for your rights kind of conversation. Can you tell that we've both not been feeling great like
I
in the
know,
last
yeah,
couple of weeks?
yeah, we're getting deep. This podcast is now therapy episode. Thank you for listening. Um, so you're kind of like I guess like a triple threat, like a Swiss Army knife in the
Oh
music
God.
industry, because you kind of write, you DJ, you produce, you run your label and everything, and we'll get into that in a little bit. Is there one that you not prefer over the others, but one that you kind of enjoy more doing? Like, do you enjoy writing songs more than the others?
100% DJing is
Yeah,
what I love out of it all. Yeah, just for me, I think that's why I've been so in my head about everything, because I've been stuck in between these walls, and like I feel like we don't do music to be stuck in one place for such a long time. And for me, just being on stage around people with great energy, the reaction, getting to interact with people is really where my heart is. And for me, that just trumps anything and everything. If someone said to me tomorrow, you can't make another piece of music or anything, but you just DJ and get to travel the world and meet people and, make people feel something through your music, I'll choose that 100 times over, which is weird to say because I also love making music. But
yeah,
if it was like I had to choose one, that's it for me.
yeah. Because you've played like loads of big shows over the last couple of years. Like we've played in Ibiza together, and
Yeah.
then you've done like Creamfields and High and everything. Is there like a highlight gig for you over the last couple of years?
Creamfields on the runway stage in 2024. I cried like a little wimp. I'm
I think loads
crying
of people
on
have
stage.
tried. Yeah,
Okay, good. That makes me feel better. I literally turned around and I was like, I'm crying. It was just honestly, I think I was so into that set that I didn't realize how many people kind of came in. And then I looked up and I was playing Show Me Love at that time, and everyone was singing along. And I was like, oh my God, there's like 35,000 people here right now. And I was like, what the hell? And I just got goosebumps all over me. Not even like a nervous way, just like I got goosebumps saying, this is what I've worked for basically and dreamt for my whole life as a little girl,
yeah.
and it's just happened, and I'm like, what the hell has just happened? It took a long time for that to soak in.
Do you get nervous whenever you're standing? Like, not every gig is to
No,
35,000 people.
every gig I get nervous.
Really?
Every gig, yeah.
Why do you think that is? Like,
I don't
because
know.
you care?
Do you know what? Someone said that to me recently. They were like, "Is if you didn't like get nervous, then you don't care." And I think
Yeah,
I'm gonna say it's that because I do generally care, even if there's 5 people there. I want to make the show amazing for those 5 people, and I'm not gonna change my set and make it more of a tame thing or whatever just because there's 5 people. Those
yeah.
5 people still deserve to have an amazing night, and go away, and I want them to then become and want to come and see me again somewhere else. So but yeah, I get real nervous poops. I need a toilet every time. If there's not a toilet present, I can't go and play. It's too
I,
TMI, but it's true.
I love that though, because like I get nervous, but I also really enjoy it. Like it's just like
Yeah.
an
You enjoy the
adrenaline.
nerves.
Yeah, it's weird. Like I still, whenever I'm on the radio, and I always try not to think about it. I remember, Annie Mac 10 years ago, like someone had asked her, like, how do you, whenever you're in the studio, because radio is in a way, it's such a weird concept because
Mhm.
like whenever you're in certain radio stations at like national, like Radio One and stuff, you've got your producers in the studio with you. So
Oh, I didn't know
you feel
that.
as though you can talk to them whenever you're talking, but whenever you're in a radio studio, a lot of the time you're just kind of there by yourself and you're just talking to a
Yeah.
microphone, but there's hundreds of thousands of people listening, and it's such a weird concept. Like I remember, like I said, Annie was asked about it, and there was like a million people listening every Friday night or something,
Wow.
and she was like, I can't think about that, because if I thought about how many people were listening, I just wouldn't be able to speak at all. It's
Yeah, that is crazy. That's like having a million people in a stadium speaking to them, but that's actually a weird concept when you say it like
yeah,
that. I've never heard anyone say it like that, so that's actually crazy.
yeah, it's mad. But yeah, I weirdly I get nervous playing like big shows, but I also like really enjoy it, like walking out on stage and just kind of seeing
hmm
the crowd. And then like the first song, once you get that out of the way, then you're kind of like
I was literally about to
into it.
ask you that. I was gonna say, like, do you feel like the minute, because I always nervous, and the minute you play the first song, you're like, oh, I've got this. It's cool. It's cool. But I just need to play that first song to know everything's working.
Yeah, yeah. I think the first I always walk out and think I know what the first one or two songs are going to be because I never like to plan things too
hmm
much. Like I would
Yeah.
like if I'm playing a 1 hour or an hour and a half set, like I'll have a folder of stuff that I want to play, but I it's not like prepped within an inch of its
Yeah.
life.
Like, you know what's happening.
Yeah, I just kind of like there might be something that I had planned and planned, but then it might not be the right sort of vibe for the crowd.
hmm
Like they might not get into it. So then I can kind of go in a different way. Is there, aside from the nervous poops, is there any way that you
Please, no one
like,
caption that and
yeah,
say that.
we now have our clip for the podcast.
God's sake, I
Is
need to be a
there,
lady.
is there any ways that you like prepare for just any gig or like the big gigs? How do you kind of
Yeah,
prepare
I'm
for them?
kind of a bit, kind of like you, where I like to know what I'm going in with, but there are certain gigs that I will actually prep my set just for my nerves to know, okay, this is going to go well. I have had a few times as well where the decks just mess up and they've stopped working, so I feel like just for my nerves to be settled a little bit more when they are really big shows to me. But then saying that at the same time, I have played, on stages where it's a big event and then I'm like, okay, this really isn't working. I need to switch it up now. And then I just have to like flip it out, which I've done before. That happened when I played drum sheds with Trick and I was like, okay, I thought it was going to be a lot of a different vibe. It was a day rave, but I was like, I need to switch this up now. And then even though I had it something prepped, I just changed it. So like, it's not that I can't change it. It's just more for ease. I'm like, if I know what I'm doing, I'd rather just know.
Yeah.
And especially if I'm doing crazy transition stuff, then I'm like, okay, well, but now because I practice so much, because I've got decks at home, which I've now bought, I feel like it's helped me calm my nerves a little bit more because there's so many like different ways I'll know how to mix one record that I'll be like, okay, I know that song works with that, so I can do that on the fly. So it's just a lot of like more practice preparation, I'd say, rather than full on preparation. But I do love knowing all the songs that I think I'm going to play in one folder for that show,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. Like I just scroll through that folder rather than being like, oh my God, what folder was that in? Because obviously we have so many songs that sometimes I can't remember and I'm the worst. Probably not a very good DJ for this. I don't know if you're probably great because you work on radio, but tell me who the artist is and what the title of the name is. I have no idea. I'll be like, I can just sing you the melody and I'll know the song, but I don't know who
Yeah.
it's by. Then if I'm trying to find it, I'll be like, I can't remember their name, and I'll probably turn around to my boyfriend and be like, what's that song? And he's like, can you just focus on what you're doing? And I'm like, okay, I need that. I need to play that song. So
That's
yeah,
that is a feature that Pioneer need to kind of bring in for the CDJs. Like you've got a microphone that doesn't go out to
yes,
the crowd, and then you can hum in, and then it'll
that'd
pick
be
up the song.
amazing. That'd be amazing. AI
Yeah,
it. That's it, and it just
yeah.
comes
We
out
need to
like.
patent that, Raphi. Create an
Yeah,
app.
doesn't Google have that? Like, can we not just steal the idea of whatever they
I
have?
think so. I don't know if it's if it's a thing. I think a while back Shazam maybe brought a feature in that
Oh,
you
Shazam,
could
yeah.
like sing it in your own like yourself, and then it would pick it up and analyze it and recognize what the
Right.
actual song is.
So
Um,
Shazam, if you want to do a collaboration with us,
Hit us up.
hit us up.
Yeah. You mentioned about like decks and stuff not working. Do you have any horror stories that have happened to
Oh,
you while
loads,
DJing?
loads. It's like, but honestly, if I get through a whole set with nothing happening, I thank my lucky stars. Honestly, I'm just like, is it me? Because there'll be DJs playing before, and I'm like, they have no problem. Like, what is going on? And
Yeah.
then I blame it. I'm like, well, they've been on forever, so clearly they're overheating now.
Yeah.
There's no problem. It's probably me
Yeah.
doing something. But yeah, I remember actually it was Trick Tenerife last year. I started playing and then literally the deck just cut out. And I'm like, Oh, and then everyone's funny because they're kind of with you, but not. They start booing, don't they? And they're like, "Oh,
Yeah,
boo!" And it's
yeah,
like it's not my fault. And then they realize, and they're like, "Oh!" And then it comes back on. It's like, "Oh!" And then literally like 2 minutes later, it happened again. And I was like, honestly, I'm not touching the deck. It just keeps cutting out.
yeah.
So that was one. But you just kind of have to learn how to deal with it, I guess, those situations. And emergency loop, when that comes on, is the bane of my life. And there's been so many times I didn't know how to come out of that. But now it's kind of like just mix in so nobody knows, just keep it, because no one really knows what's going on. You can make it
No.
as if like you're meant to be playing that loop for hours, that's how you wanted
Yeah,
it to
yeah,
be, and
yeah,
then you just bring something else in. People don't really care,
yeah.
but we care, so that we're stressing. But I've just kind of need to take a breather when that happens and be like, okay, just stay calm, otherwise you're not going to get through it.
Yeah, if you stay calm and act as though everything's going to plan, like no one will really notice. Like if that emergency loop's playing for 6 minutes straight, it's just kind of
Yeah,
like you're playing a roller, like a
but I wish our bodies could tell us to stay calm. I don't
yeah,
know,
no,
has that
yeah.
happened to you? Have you stayed calm? Because I'm like, give me some tips.
I've had it like yourself. I've had so many instances. I've done the classic where you've meant to press the play button and then press Q, and
Oh,
then it goes off completely. I was playing a club last year in Corfu, and it was like an outdoor stage, and they had like a kind of a canopy coming over the
oh
top of the stage,
nice.
but it didn't come out far enough, so all of the stage wasn't in the shade, and like the top half of
Wow.
the deck was fucking roasting. And
No.
then the booth speakers and stuff were out in the sun, so then they were constantly cutting out, and
Uh,
one of the CDJs just kept like it was obviously overheating and just was not working at all.
wow.
So yeah, I've had, hopefully that makes you feel better. I've had
Yeah, it does a little bit
many
think but
many
even
issues.
when we played IB for Rocks, was it that time we done together? I remember that the decks were so in the sun that I'm like, I can't even
Yeah.
see what I'm queuing up as the next thing. And then I started panicking as well. Like, what if I press the wrong thing? Like venues, just make sure you've got the deck sorted for your for the artist to be able to play.
Like have you played Ibiza Rocks this year?
Not this year, no. I done it last year. Yeah.
It's so much better. Like
Oh, okay, good.
I played the first, like it always was good, but it was just like that was one of the issues that the the sun and stuff, like the decks would get quite warm. But
Yeah.
yeah, I played it the first time in May there,
Hmm.
and they've completely changed the layout because it feels a lot more like a daytime party, whereas before I
Oh,
felt as
that's
though
good.
it was like a daytime party, but then also kind of set up for like a big event.
Hmm.
But they have changed the stage layout, so there's like a dance floor now in front of the stage, so the crowd and stuff can get so much
Oh.
closer to you. Um, so yeah,
That sounds really nice, actually.
it's great. It's really good. So we've covered DJing and like the music side of things and stuff. I want to have a little chat about Running Heads,
Hmm.
your label. How
Yeah.
how did that come about? Was that like the next gradual step for you? Because like I feel as though a lot of artists go through this where they're waiting on answers from labels, and maybe
Hmm.
the labels are saying, oh, it's not for us, but then the artist really likes it and they kind of want a facility and a platform to put their own music out. What was it for you?
Yeah, for me, it kind of was that. It was, I just felt like I was not even sending out a lot of music to labels and stuff, to be honest. I actually just wanted, coming from, I guess, the writer background, knowing how some labels work and like with the rights and stuff, I kind of just wanted to be able to have freedom. And I was like, if I can curate a platform for myself to be able to do that without having to, like you say, wait around for people to find release schedules as well. Because within labels, I don't know if people really know that, yeah, they will sign you a record, but they also have to fit it into their release schedule. So if they have, I don't know, 4 records out that week, they'll be like, well, we have to postpone yours. And it's kind of like them delaying your life a little bit.
Yeah.
It goes two and two, doesn't it? Obviously, if you get signed to an amazing label, the look and everything does help and you can get gigs off of that. But for just certain records, I was just like, I just need something to start happening. Not many people know me that I'm doing this now and producing and writing and doing it all myself kind of thing with my team. So I was like, well, how can I break that barrier? But then there was the other side of it for me as well, that I know how hard it is to get my foot into the door in this industry. And even though it's a little bit I guess, easier, let's say, because of social media now. It's not really that easy. Like, not anyone can just start up and be like, I magically blow up on TikTok. Some people it does, but you have to be like one in a million. There have
Yeah.
been people that have been doing it for a long time that then blow up. So I kind of wanted to create a platform because when I was doing a lot of shows, so many young DJs would come up to me after and be like, "Oh, can I send you like my music? I've been producing for a long time, but no one's really like playing my stuff." And I just thought, how amazing would it be to have a space where people feel confident and comfortable enough to also just slide into my DMs and send me something and I can give feedback and just, I love helping people because I had people help me,
Yeah.
and I just think it's really nice because not everyone does want to help and have time to help as well. And don't get me wrong, I might take ages to reply sometimes when it gets
Yeah.
busy, but I will sit down eventually and get to it. So for me, that's what the label's really about. I do have some news on the label that I can't really share at the moment, but there's a bit of a change that's happening.
Okay.
So there might be a slight rebrand thing happening. So stay tuned for that, but I can't say too much right now.
Okay. Is it still if you can't give too much away, is it still Running Heads it's going to be called? Or are you changing that, or feel free not to say?
T- t- TBC.
Okay. Yeah, I think like it's great that like you've set up your own platform and stuff to facilitate your own releases, and then also like support and champion up and coming artists who you're maybe excited about. And I think that's why a lot of people start up their own labels. Like it's certainly why I kind of started up Lift Me Up to like support artists who I was excited about and work with up and coming producers and more
Yeah,
established names and everything, because like you'll know it from the artist side of things, you're going to get so many no's in the music industry, and it's
exactly.
trying not to let that dishearten you, and you just kind of need to roll with the punches.
Yeah, I think it's hard to say. It kind of contradicts itself a little bit, I feel, when I talk about it, because don't get me wrong, there'll be records that are sent in that we can't, like, I'm sure you get that you can't always say yes to but at the end of the day, music is also so subjective. I feel like it's just an opinion, it's by taste. So if you send something to someone, they don't love it, doesn't mean it's not a great record. It's just not good for that label. And I also feel like a lot of labels have their own sound. So I constantly felt like I was trying to produce records to fit into a label rather than again make it for myself. So that's why I think it's great having our own labels, because it's like, well, we can do that now. There was never this before years ago. So I kind of encourage people, not saying like necessarily you don't have to go ham in your own, like my label has to be the best label in the world. But if you want to release music and you're really not getting anywhere with it, I said this actually, maybe I shouldn't have, but I was in the Tool Room Academy panel the other day and I was saying to people, I don't think people realize that you actually can just put a record out yourself. You make your own name for a label, and then a major label or an independent label can
Hmm.
upstream your record if it's doing well. And also that's another way to get eyes on you rather than sitting around waiting for people to be and like to respond to you. Just do it yourself, and then if it builds the traction you want, that's what labels want these days, and you've done the work and it's up to you. Should I now let them do it, or should I just keep it myself and carry on what I'm doing? And you have that choice. So I think it just gives you more freedom.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I think the the whole process of like years ago, you couldn't really do anything unless you had a label. Like you needed to have the
Exactly.
backing of a label to then open up doors for you at radio and TV and everything like that. And that has obviously changed over the last number of years. But I think it's like up and coming artists, they're maybe too early for a label to maybe
Yeah,
kind of be
okay.
interested. Because at the end of the day, like labels are, you're in the music business, they are running a business, and
Hmm.
they kind of need to know that if they're going to be working with you, that the record is going to be financially viable at some
Hmm.
point in the
Yeah.
future. So if you're an up and coming artist and you're maybe not, you don't have much noise going on around you, or you're not playing many gigs or anything like that, or you've only had like a handful of releases, you might not be ready to then release on a label of a certain level. So absolutely release through like a number of distributors
Yeah.
that are free and stuff, just to kind of put your music out there and kind of create a little bit of noise and stuff around you as an artist. And then there's obviously the social side of things to then labels will then be coming to you rather than
Mhm.
you then going to them. And I think that's
Yeah, which
quite
I think is
important too.
so powerful. I think that's like the most powerful thing. One thing I've learned is I tend to reach out to a lot of people, because it's just how I'm programmed, like from young, like be a hustler, do this back in the day, like you just got to do this, do that. But then it's actually really nice when people start coming to you and you start realizing the shift and you're like, oh, okay. And then you feel a bit more, well, you don't feel like you need to show your validation to people. And then you actually start understanding yourself a bit more and also respecting your craft for yourself again. Like you don't need to have it validated again. It's like you say, of course, when you're starting out so early, not every record is also going to be amazing, but you need to also understand that yourself and know which ones are good and which aren't good to filter out like how you're working to get to the next level kind of thing. So I feel like it's yeah, there's no wrong or right answer really, is there, in this industry? I feel like a
No,
lot of
I
it is
think
just like trial and error.
yeah, I think I've said to you before, like we've spoken about it, and I'm always a firm believer. And one thing that I will always live by is no one knows what they're doing in the music
No. I
industry. We're
feel
all
like I'm
just winging it.
talking. I was like, why am I
Yeah,
talking? I was like, I'm not I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. I was like, I'm just gonna stop. There's no wrong or right.
no, we're all just winging it to a certain extent.
Yeah.
But once you kind of you come to terms with that, then you're like, all right, okay. Every day's a school day. Everyone's learning,
Yeah.
no matter what level you are in the music industry. But yeah, I
100%.
think it's super important to have that freedom as an artist, and like more and more producers and artists are doing it now, starting up their own labels because, like you'd said, whenever you are working with the label, and it's great, um, a lot of the times, but you're waiting on other people and the process and how the machine and everything works, that you might not have a release for 6 months, nine
Yeah.
months, 12 months, or the record that you really want to release and that you feel passionate about, they might not be vibing with and might not want to put it out. So then it's,
Yeah.
what do you then do? So then if you start your own label, then you can put those records out.
Yeah, it's really funny. It's also one of those things like people say, people want what you haven't got, right? So, but then they don't. The grass isn't always greener. Like I won't name names, but I have a friend who was signed to a major label, had like their moment, and then it kind of didn't go as planned because the label was then like dragging it out for them to have the next release, and it's gone on for like years now. But then they've now just done their own label aside from that so they can start releasing it because within their contract they can't, unless it's blah blah blah. So they've just done this now and then they're like, it feels so good to finally be able to release music again because that's all we want to do as musicians. We just
Yeah.
want to be able to put our music out. Otherwise, what are we doing? Like we want to make music, release it, and play it. That's literally
Yeah,
that's the
exactly.
only thing we want to do, and everything else around it is just industry rubbish that we don't want to have to deal with.
Yeah, and like don't get me wrong, there's obviously a place for majors for a certain level of
Of
artists. Like if
course,
you're a brand new artist signing to a major, it might not always go the way that you maybe were told or how you thought it
hmm
was going to go. But there's good and bad things, like everything. But
everything
yeah,
has its time, doesn't it? There'll always be. I've realized this now, even now that I've signed my deal, which I love my team that I've signed with at Spinning. Honestly, I couldn't have asked for a better team, but I keep saying, what's the catch? Like, it always starts off great, right? I was like, at what point does it start dipping?
yeah,
Obviously, I'm hoping it doesn't because there is the rare cases it doesn't. But just because I've seen so many things, I'm like, so at what point does this person stop replying or does this start happening? I'm like, we're on a good run at the moment. I'm like waiting for it to.
whenever you start having big records, then
Yeah.
your messages will stop getting replied to. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, "Which one?" I'm like, hopefully that doesn't happen because they are an amazing team, I do have to say that. I'm very blessed in
Yeah.
that sense. Um,
How
but
long have
yeah.
you been with Spinning for? It's been quite recent, hasn't it?
Yeah, this year, beginning of this year. I started working with them at the end of last year. Since AD, they actually came to the pop-up that we done with Running Heads. And then I officially signed in January. So it's been quite
Exciting.
new. Yeah,
Miss.
feels like a new
Are
start.
yeah, are you doing many, like, I know that you're focusing on, like, your own project and stuff and, like, DJing and everything, but are you doing many sessions and stuff for you as an artist or writing for other people?
Yeah, I wasn't for a long time and I'm kind of getting back into it a little bit now. It's funny, like I found the people that I kind of work with, not saying that I don't let other people win because I do, but I've kind of like we really understand the sound that we're working together. So kind of have like 2, 3 people
Your
that
little
come in and
crew.
out literally in this room. And
Yeah.
this is my garage that we've converted into a studio. So like I rock up in my pajamas. We write from morning to night. We have dinner here together. It's like a little camp basically.
Yeah.
And we just make the music and then see what happens. It's kind of bad because now when I go, so I went to a camp in IB for a couple of months ago, and I was like, cool, this is a very weird. I was like, I have to speak to people again now. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh, I have to work with people that I don't know how to, and on a time limit. Whereas here, there is no like, we have to get a song done in 3 hours or, 6 hours. We literally are working on records. Some of them happen quickly, but then we finesse them, for
Yeah.
weeks because we have time to go into it. Maybe a little bit too much. Maybe it's not the best. And sometimes we get a bit too into everything. We're like, okay, the song's done now, just leave it.
Yeah, yeah. Whenever you were in Ibiza, were you walking down to the sessions in your pajamas as well, or was that
No,
a
it's not the same.
vibe?
It's not the same vibe. I have to put makeup on. I have to, whereas here I just rock up with my hair in a bun with my glasses on.
Yeah, it's great.
Even today, I put my contacts in for this.
Thank you. Feel so privileged, Rafi. Like on the topic of like sessions and things like that, it's great that you've got like your little crew and people who you regularly work with and kind of blend well with, but it's such a weird concept at times because whenever you're
Mm,
in like songwriting camps and stuff, you could be put into a room with people who you've never met before, and you kind of need to work with each other quite quickly, and
yeah,
you can't take things personal because you might bring an idea to the table that you love, and then someone might be like, "Oh, I actually don't like that." It's a bit of a weird
yeah.
process.
I done a lot of them, um, in the past years. Like where you'd go in, or you'll try and say even just an idea, and people would just shut me down before I've even opened my mouth and stuff. Like
Yeah,
there's a lot, but also I think that's really important to have that. I think I'm only where I am now and choosy with her work because I've worked with them for such a long time and I've built those relationships. It's not like we've just kind of met, but at one point we were those people that did just get put into a room together, but eventually you kind of gel with the people that that are on the same page as you. And you just have to admit that I remember as well actually saying and begging, like, I really want to work with this person. Like, they've done amazing things. They've written for blah, 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 blah. Get in the room. And we just didn't vibe. And I was like,
yeah,
oh my God, is it me? Like, what? I'm just not on form today. Like, oh my God, I'm not good anymore. But then you just have to really remember you're not going to gel with everyone, even if they've had a number one hit. Doesn't mean you're going to write your hit with them because it's so personal music that it's just like,
mhm.
it's not going to happen like that all the time. So you just have to take it.
Yeah. It's crazy. Like I'd previously spoken to KLP on the podcast, and
Yeah. She's
she's
amazing, by the way.
yeah,
Love her.
she's phenomenal. Such a lovely person, Christy. But she also does A&R on the publishing side for
Mhm.
the Australian label Sweat It Out. And I was talking to her about like publishing and songwriting camps and everything like that. And she had said that whenever you get into your room, you kind of very quickly need to figure out who you want to be in that room, whether you are
Mhm.
going to be the producer, whether you're going to be like the ideas person, or whether you're like the vibes person. She had said like be the Rick Rubin in the room or
It's
something.
so
Like just
true though that there are sometimes some people go, they've done nothing on their record. I'm like, they brought the energy. Like without them
yeah,
being in the room, we wouldn't have had the ideas or the energy to have what we've created. So you've got to give
yeah.
that to people as well.
They brought the energy and they brought the snacks, the most important person in the room.
Yeah. I recently worked with a guy called Tristan. Oh my God, I don't even know his surname. Is it Tristan Henry? He's doing a lot of Prosper and stuff at the moment, but I was in a room with him in the Ibiza camp. And
Yeah.
honestly, okay, granted, he actually is also an amazing vocalist and writer, but he was the energy maker in that room. Like he gave me the energy to actually be like, yeah, this is the vibe we want. And then like, just so you need those big characters to be in a room to really give you the power to feel good as well in yourself, even if you're kind of slightly doubting yourself with so many people around. And he gave that for me. So I actually think you need those people in a room.
Yeah, love it. Right, Rafi, we're going to wrap it up soon. We're going to do a quick fire question
Oh my
round.
God.
Okay.
Okay. I hate these. I never know. They're
No,
hard
no,
questions.
no, they're fine.
Okay.
Okay. I always see it whenever people ask me this. Top three dance tracks
Oh
ever.
no. See, this is the thing. My brain doesn't work. Okay.
You can
Um,
hum them. You can sing them if you want.
yeah. Show Me Love always. It's just a
Yeah.
big, big classic for me. Um, Oh, see, my brain's not working now. Can you ask me this question another time?
Okay. Well, I'll take one. Show Me Love, Robin S. Banger.
Show me love, Robin S. Can I
Yeah.
say my own record? My next single
Of
coming out.
course. Yeah, go for
My
it.
next single, Giving You. I've been playing it for 2 years, and to me, it's a very special one, so that's going to be up there. And what else should I say? Do you
Mine
know what?
Forever.
There's so many. No, I
Yeah.
love My Forever, but it wouldn't be one of my tops to
Okay.
play. I like playing Like This Like That by that I signed as well on Running Heads is a great record by Cal
Okay.
Bateman
Great.
and Liam Parkins.
We've got our
There you go.
three.
Leave it like that.
Yeah. Favorite TV show?
These are I don't. Why are these such hard? My brain is not on it today. Favorite TV show? I don't really watch much TV. Um.
Our
Oh,
favorite movie?
yeah. Favorite movie? I love The Notebook. I love The
Great
Notebook.
movie.
Yeah. Or the other side of me really weirdly loves Fast and Furious movies. So
See, I would be with you. I loved like the first three whenever I was
yeah,
growing up, and then after that was just like,
yeah. The first ones. Paul Walker is my
yeah, yeah,
God rest
great
his soul.
movies.
Yeah.
Okay, you're booking a festival. Who are your three headliners?
Okay. We've got Peggy Goo, Armand Van Helden, and Carlita.
Okay, great. What's one thing every aspiring artist should stop doing?
Caring about other people's opinions.
Okay, favorite club?
I love High Ibiza. I know that's probably just a cliche, but it's one of my favorites.
Did you ever go to space before it was high?
No, I didn't.
Yeah,
So
I
was that
like
better?
I love high. Obviously, it will have that. Oh well, it's not space and stuff. High is amazing by itself.
Yeah.
But was lucky enough to go to space a few times before it closed. It was unbelievable.
Oh, really? Okay, maybe that wasn't a good. Maybe I need
No,
to
no,
go back
no.
in
I, I,
time.
I love high. High's amazing.
Yeah.
Have you ever played in the toilets, the wild corner?
No, but I go there all the time because that for me is such a vibe in that room. I love it. I
Okay.
love it. I just love the concept is wild.
Okay. Who is someone in the industry that you think deserves more recognition?
There's a lot of people. A
Yeah.
lot. I'm surrounded by a lot of also a lot of amazing female artists that I feel like don't get the time of day. If I was to list a few really quickly, some are vocalists, some are DJs. There's Chanel Carmichael, Sophia, Kelly Lee. God, there's so many. Honestly, there's just so many that I feel like. Bo Conquest is a new up and coming DJ as well. Yeah, there's quite a lot that I feel like need shouting out.
Okay, love it. This might kind of bring back PTSD from the last time I'd asked it, but it's a bit of a
Yeah.
different question. Biggest guilty pleasure track?
Oh, okay. Oh my God. Again, there's so many. Does it have to be a dance song? I'm trying to think
No, no,
now.
not at all. Like
Oh,
anything.
okay. It's gonna be like a Wham tune or something. Has to be.
Banger.
Club
Love it.
Tropicana.
Yeah.
Also, the fact that I knew that the music video was filmed in Pikes. So when I
Yeah.
went to Ibiza, I was like, I need to go to Pikes straight away. Went there and I was like, it's iconic for me.
Have you read the Mr. Pike's book yet?
No.
Oh my goodness.
Oh
So
my
I've
God.
got it. I haven't read it yet. It's the story about the guy who created Pikes, and it talks about like how it started out. Freddie Mercury and stuff used to always have his birthdays there, and
Ah.
like Wham filming. Yeah, apparently it's unbelievable.
Oh wow. Okay.
So
I need
yeah,
to get
you need
into
to get
that.
it. Favorite meal or snack?
Oh, favorite meal is easy. Well, there's two. I love oh, sorry for anyone that is a vegan. I was like, I just realized I'm about to say this, and they're both very meat heavy. I love a rack of barbecue ribs and chips. I can live off chips, like deep fried, crispy
Yeah.
chips.
Do you like cooking yourself?
Yeah, I do. I do. But I also love eating out. Like one of my favorite things to do as a hobby is eating out.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
yeah.
That kind of leads me on a little bit to the final question. Favorite thing to do outside of music? Is it
Well,
eating?
yeah, it'll be eating and going shopping. Like I love fashion, so like finding outfits and things and creating them together and stuff is another thing.
Okay, great. And final question, Raphi, and we ask everyone on the podcast the same question. If you could go back and give yourself advice whenever you were first starting out in the music industry, what would it be?
Just always stay true to yourself and don't let other people persuade you just because they've had more experience, that you think that's going to be okay to change yourself and not necessarily guide you through journeys. I just mean your actual character. Don't let people like attack your personal character. Like just be yourself at all times.
Amazing. Love it. Raphi, thank you so much for coming on. Great to
Thank
chat with you.
you. Thank you. I feel like I need to choose my 3 songs again now.
Come back to me and then
God's sake.
we'll redo it in a
Yeah,
year time or something.
literally, we need to do it.